What's up, guys? Time for number 4 on my list of best Seahawks of 2022. And here we have another guy who I would say, more than anything else, more than just his play, more than just his production, really saved our bacon in 2022 because there was a point in this season where, due to losses sustained at this particular position, it kind of looked bad. It looked like we were in some real trouble here. It looked like we might not be able to have the season we thought we were going to have, even on the most lowest of expectation trees, because we just didn't have the soldiers at this position. And then a guy who is a rookie, had never played in the NFL before this season, gets thrusted into the primary role at that spot. And not only does he continue to produce, not only does he continue to put up numbers and have a good season, have an efficient season, he's your workhorse for several games this year. He's the reason why you're winning these games. He's ultimately, at the end of the day, the main focus of what made your team good for a good chunk of the year. So I definitely think number 4 is warranted for this player. Things could have gone really bad in 2022 if we didn't have this guy. And we probably put a little too much on his shoulders in this season, knowing that he was a rookie, knowing he was new to the NFL. But we did, because we had to, and he came through. So, let's talk about number 4 on the top 10 Seahawks list. Coming in at number 4 is your Rookie of the Year finalist, Ken Walker, the rookie running back, also known as Kenneth Walker, also known as Ken Walker III, however you want to put it, as long as you understand that he was one of the best rookies in the league this year, one of the better running backs in the league this year, and an extremely important part of the Seahawks' successful 2022 campaign. So, in order to really understand what's going on with Ken Walker here, we kind of have to go back to week 5 of the season. It seemed like the Seahawks were starting to settle into their expected offensive flow, where they were going to have a powerful, effective, and explosive rushing attack leading the way, led by Rashad Penny. He had just had a big game against the Lions. He was starting to settle in and starting to become an important part of what the offense was doing. We go into New Orleans, and Penny gets hurt. We can immediately tell it's serious. Sure enough, he's out for the season. And I think every Seahawks fan at that moment kind of felt like, well, here we go again. We've seen this happen before. We've seen it happen with Rashad Penny, of course. We've seen it happen with Rashad Penny. He gets hurt a lot. But the point is, we've seen it happen with running back after running back after running back. Chris Carson, at the end, the final year was here. You could even go back to like Marshawn Lynch, Thomas Rawls. We get a running back. We plan on making him the guy, and he doesn't finish the season. Now, that's not exactly uncommon in the modern NFL, but it's starting to feel like we're snake bit a little bit here. And the real problem is, a lot of the time, when these guys go down, the guys behind them also go down, and that was also the case this year. Because by the time Rashad Penny got hurt, Travis Homer had already gotten injured as well, and ended up missing about a month in the middle of the season. So we were back in a familiar spot, and we've seen this movie play out before, where the Seattle Seahawks have very, very low-level, low-ability running backs starting for them because everybody else got hurt. We can remember the games over the last few years where you've had guys like DJ Dallas having to play a big role because he's the guy who's there. We've seen games where you have to call up Marshawn Lynch off the street to start in playoff games because you literally don't have anything else. So this was starting to feel like another Seahawks year where injuries to the running back stable just killed them. And then it wasn't, because we actually had a guy on the bench ready to go who was an upper echelon talent at the position. Not just somebody you grab because he's the guy who's sitting there and let's go with this guy and, whatever. Let's just pick up somebody off the street and go with him. It wasn't like that. No, Ken Walker was not like that at all. However, he was a rookie, and I think that it felt like the ceiling of this team had been reduced significantly when Rashad Penny hit IR. Well, Ken Walker, as a rookie, was able to step in and provide high-level play for this team. I don't think we missed much of a beat with Penny on the bench. I don't think we missed much of a beat with Travis Homer missing games as well because of Ken Walker. So for that, I think he kind of needs to be considered the number 4 best player on the team for 2022. You can look at the numbers, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves, right? You've got over 1,000 rushing yards, over 1,200 yards from scrimmage, 9 touchdowns, 4.6 yards a carry behind a really bad interior offensive line, 4.8 yards a touch overall. He also played fairly well in the playoff game, one of the few players on this team who played really well in that game, I believe. So you've got the numbers, you've got the raw numbers, you've got the games. You've got a bunch of games where Ken Walker really just showed up and dominated. The Chargers game, I'd say both Cardinals games, honestly. You had the Jets game, you had the second Rams game, even the Chiefs game, he might have been the only guy on the offense who really showed up. So you have the overall numbers, you have the game-to-game dominance, where sometimes he's your best player as a rookie. You have the PFF scores, almost a 77. The only part of his game that is suspect right now is the blocking, and that's to be expected from a rookie running back. So that should come along at least somewhat in the coming years, and he's going to be a complete running back. He can catch the ball well enough. He's a great runner. He's somebody who can bust off big plays, and he's also somebody who you can depend on to grind for 20-plus carries in a game. But when you're talking about Ken Walker, there's also the little things that I think that some people will not necessarily know about because they're not mainstream numbers, but they capture just how good he was in 2022. Ken Walker, in his rookie season, did not have a single fumble, and he's had 1 fumble combined across the last 2 years of football he's played, 1 year in college, 1 year in the NFL. His breakaway percentage was over 43%, second in the league among all running backs. His 10 total touchdowns, including the playoffs, were top 10 among all running backs. He was 11th in running backs with 10-plus yard runs, 29 of them. So he was also one of the more explosive running backs, a lot of big plays from K9. And 4.6 yards per carry, while it doesn't seem like a huge number, was 12th among all running backs. And for those of you who may have been concerned he was more of a speed guy than anything else, he averaged over 3 yards after contact per attempt, 12th among running backs. So he was above average in that area as well. Maybe you could say he was even good in that area as well. So Ken Walker was the complete package. And when you take a look at what the Seahawks had to deal with at the position outside of Ken Walker, where, again, Penny got hurt in Game 5, Homer was in and out of the lineup the whole season, even guys like DJ Dallas and Tony Jones couldn't stay completely upright the whole year, you needed K9 out there. You needed his consistency. You needed his ability to consistently show up. He did end up missing 2 games on the year. He missed Week 1, and I believe he missed Week 14 against the Panthers as well. But overall, what you got from K9 as a rookie was about as good as you could ever hope for. There are not that many rookie running backs out there who will have better years than this. And at the end of the day, I do believe he was the best rookie running back in the entire NFL for 2022. I imagine he will make a vast majority of all rookie teams at the very least. And he's got a real opportunity to be considered the best offensive rookie in the league at the very least this year. So that's K9. He was one of the most important pieces of a top 10 offense. Our offense is ultimately the reason why we were good in 2022. So therefore, I believe he should be considered a top 4 player on the 2022 Seahawks, and I'm giving him that number 4 spot. So let me know what you guys think about it. I'll see you guys later on, and we are getting right up to the very top of the list here. Let me know what you think. Go Hawks.